But how do you stay positive mentally? How do you, for example, listen to anything? That would
I do. Like, listen to a lot of music and podcasts. I suppose it's
How do you charge stuff? That's what, because I would think that would be great. But I was thinking also, how would you logistically do that? Solar chargers?
Take little battery packs. Yep. The front hub they've kind of really modernised them. I suppose, like, when your mum had her bike that had it's like a little dynamo. It's called like a bottle dynamo, and it goes on the side of the wheel. It's a little generator.
Yep.
Like a little alternator. So it's like a more advanced one of those that goes in the front wheel hub of your bike.
And charges your stuff.
Yeah, but we'll only charge it when you're going at a steady speed and you have to be a certain speed above. Yep. So quite often, if you're in like pretty tough terrain, like, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because your speed's up and down, or you're going quite slowly. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you so obviously, like, you got some music, you got some podcasts, but when you don't have that stuff, like, how do you stay mentally in the game? Like, what are your techniques?
Well, it's kind of when you start it, it's, you make that agreement with yourself. You're like, I will finish this no matter what, even if I'll walk the end of it, if it comes to it. So it's kind of, when you really am struggling, you have to kind of have that moment of clarity, and you're like, well, I made the agreement that I'm going to finish this, so I'm going to finish this. So it's like very much, you need a bank of bad experience to draw back down on.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that perspective. I've seen a few movies and stuff that have kind of come out about people attempting like really long rides or something quite arduous, and they'll go into it like a couple of hours in and go, this is the worst day of my life, which is like, and in that moment in time it is, because that's their perspective.
Yeah.
But like, you've eventually trained to the point, and you've eventually had that experience bank enough of it that it's put in perspective, like, well, gee, I'm having a really shit time. But a year and a half ago, I was having a way worse time over here. So it's very much like, so you talk about riding across Vietnam and having a really, really tough day. So it's like, the next time you're there, or a week later, you're having a tough day. You're like, well, it's a tough day, but it's not as tough as what I've just had. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually talking about business stress the other day, and how I don't find Athena, the company that I run now, like, nothing about it stresses me out. And I think that's because of the stress that I went through with Adventure Fit. Like, it was unfathomably stressful every time we ran a trip, because we were like scratching for money. Yeah. So every 3 months I'd go through this like mental breakdown of like stress. Yeah. Not a mental breakdown, but it was really, really heavy duty stress. Yeah. And then now I understand that full well, because now I think of that. I'm like, you know what? This is not bad at all. I've been through way worse stuff than this. Does that make sense?
And you really need to...
You don't catastrophize it, I guess.
Yeah, and you got to have that moment of clarity, and you're like, all right, well, if I remove the emotion out of this, what is actually really going wrong? Yeah. And it's like, well, I'm stuck in a storm at the moment. I'm sitting in a public toilet. Well, it's not ideal, and I'm losing time, but at this point in time, like, I'm safe. There's walls around me. I'll just have to wait this storm out to be able to push on. And but at the time, you're not thinking rationally, like, everything's going down the drain. I'm losing positions and stuff. It's like, and that did happen. Yeah. Unfortunately, through the Rockies, in particular Colorado and northern New Mexico, it rains every day and has lightning storms. And that guy that I mentioned earlier that organised that ride from Perth to Sydney, that race from Perth to Sydney, was more or less struck by lightning, and he still came second in the race. So he was struck by lightning, had complete memory blank, ended up on someone's bed thinking he was in the Wizard of Oz, and then
he still managed
to get his shit together and come second. So
you guys are savages.
Yeah,
you guys should be UFC fighters. Just get in there and just ride your bike around, just punch blokes in the face. You'd probably be able to endure more pain than most UFC fighters would.